Hello everyone. In this video I am doing to cover the review and approval of a CE course that was put on train. I'm going to go through kind of what you want to look for and the information that you want to submit to our nursing administrator for CE approval, and then once that approval does come back, the steps that you're going to take and what you're going to add in that course before approving it and sending that email to the course provider. Alrighty. So I'm on the home page of Train. The first thing we'll do is, once the course has been submitted for approval, we'll go to our approval items. And I'm going to select this course just for training purposes. Okay, so it's going to bring you to this approve at the very end. I don't know why it starts there, but we're going to go back up to the top. Okay, this will be blank. So as you can see, you'll have a Kid's Smile. This course in particular, they put on quite a few times throughout the year, so you will know immediately from the title of Kid's Smile that it is a course that is asking for CEs. A lot of times with new courses, I am not sure that it's going to ask for CEs. The quickest way that I found to go about that is to click on that credit type, and if they have selected contact hours, you immediately know that they are asking for the course to be submitted for nursing CE approval. So we'll go back to description. Okay, so we have the title. Just make sure that they do have that course ID in the date, location. Make sure that's all correct. Click next. Make sure they do have that expiration date. I think for this one, I just built this, so bear with me here. Okay. All right. And then your course description, this is where you're going to pull the information for our nursing administrator. So I usually just start from here, copy and paste all of this fun stuff into a email template, because your nursing administrator is, of course, going to need the title of the course, the date of the event, time of the event, location. They'll need a description, the objectives, not necessarily an instructor bio, but they will need that presenter. And one of the big things that you also have to look at is you need to go either to the instructor bio or the agenda and look at those presenters that will be speaking at this training, and make sure that you do have the CVs on file for each presenter, because that is a requirement of KBN. So you'll go through, we of course have Dr. McKee's CV, but you'll want to look at the instructor bios, make sure you have all the presenters, look for their CVs. If you do not have their CVs, go back to this course provider and say, before we can submit this for CE approval, we do need so-and-so CV to have on file. All right, so you'll want to make sure you have the agenda, make sure that their agenda does have the allotted time for their lunch and for breaks, and then make sure that they have a planning committee, and as well they have an RN listed on their planning committee. If they do not have an RN listed and they did not have an RN in their planning process, that is okay. Our nursing administrator will usually, he or she will send an email, and from there, they will contact the course provider, kind of ask them a little bit about that planning process, get some information from them, and then they will put their name on the planning committee. As you can see, that's what Joy has done. We've discussed with Bill. She was good with this. She put her name on it. But it is a requirement to have an RN on that planning committee. That is all the information that you're going to need right here to send to your course provider. This is one of the first things that I do. As long as I have those CVs on file, I have everything down, I'll go ahead and send that, so that way I can go through the rest of the course, but the nursing administrator already has this information for approval. It saves a little bit of time. So once you have submitted that, you can go through the rest of the course and make sure that everything's okay. You will add this information. So you've already submitted the information to the nursing administrator. They have now come back and they have approved it, and they've stated, this training is approved for however many contact hours. Now you're going to go in and add this information that I'm getting ready to go over. So let me go back to the description. All right, then once we're back to this course description page, we're going to go ahead and copy this course title. Make sure that copied. Okay, and then you're going to go and open your Kbn book, which I've already got that open down here. You're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom, which I've actually already put this in. So the course contact is Bill Bishop, so we'll put the name in there, and then you're just going to go from 47, you're going to go to 48, and you'll just keep counting up as you enter courses. So, for example, the next course that will be entered into the Kbn book will be 49. His is a face-to-face course. Go ahead and paste that course title. And then for any face-to-face courses or on-site courses, you're going to put the location. Let's just do Frankfurt for this one. And then this column right here is your amount of contact hours. So whatever the nurse administrator came back with, you will put in here. So this one gets 8.3 nursing contact hours. Don't worry about this column right here for new courses. This column here, and just to let you know, all of the titles are all up here for the columns. This one is the date that it's approved. So once it has been approved by the nursing administrator, the day that you're going back in and adding in all the information to the course, that's what you're going to put. So today's the 4th. Oops. Okay. So you have that in here, and I would recommend go ahead and putting this in just so you don't forget, because I've forgotten quite a few times. Okay, so that provider course number, as you can see, this is your offering number 48, and here, up here is the rest of that number, so you can copy this, and then like I said, you'll go down to 48, and paste it right there, and then just type that 48. You're good there, hit next. All right, then for the course description, it's already added, but this nursing continuing education information, this can be found in your Word document. It's right here. I usually just copy this and paste it, and then put it right below the planning committee, like it's already done. And make sure that when you do paste this, you'll see this course has been approved for. Add in the total number of contact hours that the course is approved for. So as you can see, this is approved for 8.3. And then right here, add in that Kbn provider number. This is already inserted, so all you've got to add, and it says right here, is that 048, the last 3 digits of the provider number. Okay, the disclaimer statement, once you add this, go ahead and copy that disclaimer statement because you're going to need that for the certificate. So copy that and make sure they've got the steps for completing a course and the original posting date. All right, you'll go through here. Don't worry about that. Just make sure that all this is selected. Contact hours will be your next step. Go in here, add in the amount of contact hours. So we'll add the 8.3 and make sure contact hours is the credit type that is selected. After you do that, do not hit next. Hit this little floppy disk right here. It's super confusing, I know, but make sure you hit that to save it, and then you can hit next. Your next step is they will already have that training certificate of attendance in there. You're going to assign the contact hour certificate. So click on, too far, click on this assign certificate, then click on all public certificates. Let it refresh, and then under certification type, we'll look for contact hours joy. There it is, right there. Select that one. Don't worry about putting a start or end date. You don't need any of those, but under allow to the following credit type, make sure contact hours is selected. And then in this notes box, you're going to type in that Kbn number. Right there, and then you're going to go ahead and paste that disclaimer statement that you copied from the course description. We're doing so many spaces. Okay, so that's all that you will need to put on your certificates, because the certification type, that contact hours joy, will actually pull the signature of Joy Hoskins, and it'll pull the credit, however many contact hours there are. It's going to go ahead and pull that from your course edit wizard, as well as the contact's name and location. So all you need to add is that KBN number and the disclaimer statement. Okay, make sure automatically is selected, and make sure the learners must successfully pass any post-assessment is selected, and then click save. Okay, so you should have 2 certificates on here, the trade certificate of attendance for the non-credit type and the contact hours Joy. This is going to be your contact hour certificate. Hit next. Accreditations, this is already assigned, but I'll actually go through this process. Usually nothing will be here. You'll select assign accreditation, and then you're going to go down and select Kentucky. Make sure you do not do this with national. Make sure you select Kentucky. It'll refresh the page. You're going to go down this list, and you're not looking for Kentucky. That's what I always look for. You're actually going to look for the word approved right down here. Approved by the Kentucky Board of Nursing, contact hours. Make sure that this is checked. So here it's checked, Kentucky's checked, and then scroll down to the bottom and click save. And then that's when it'll bring this up. Okay, and then next, and you'll just go through all of these and make sure that these are all filled out. Let me get you to. Okay, then once you get to the evaluations, make sure that they do have 2 different evaluations, one for the contact hours, one for non-credit type. Make sure that mandatory and auto verify is selected, as well as Kentucky. And then over here, you'll go to the edit evaluation. And then on questions, make sure that they do have the list of questions that we require for a CE course for their evaluation, that those are in here. And we do have the evaluation questions in a Word template in case you do not have it. For a face-to-face, they've got 10 that they have to add right here. Okay, so like the first and last name, evaluate the program, evaluate the presenter, objective, so on and so on. Looks like all of that is here. Okay, so once you double check that, you can just go down and click save, or you can click X if you didn't make any changes. Up to you. Those are good. Format details. You're good here. Make sure that they do have their session in place to make sure that it corresponds with what their course title said. A lot of times people will put in the start date. They'll forget to do 2018. They put in 2017. So just kind of go over that. You'll see this little pencil right here. And there's the times and everything. A lot of times, especially with the Kids Smile course, they do have a capacity, and they also have a registration deadline. So make sure if they did request that, those are in there. And make sure the visibility is set to Kentucky, as you can see. All right, that's about it. Once you have all of that information in there, you can go ahead and click approve and click finish, and then you'll send the email to the course provider, and you're going to explain that their course titled such and such is approved on train, and the following nursing continuing education information is attached. And on that email, you'll put the KBN number, you'll put the amount of contact hours that it was allotted, and then I always add that nursing continuing education information. Well, let's go here. This right here. I always put that in the email as well, just to make sure that they understand that this is also on the course. So you'll add, the however many hours, the KBN number, and then the disclaimer statement. So you need the KBN number, the amount of contact hours, the nursing continuing education information, and the disclaimer statement. Once you have all of that on the email, you can send that to the course provider, and then you are good to go. That is all you have to do for a course once it's approved and everything. Let me get out of this. And then once you hit approve, you're good to go. They will have that information, and then make sure you did add everything in your KBN book. Make sure you save it. That's all you gotta do.